families, the teachers, the students that are realizing that a system built to divide, impoverish, and destroy us cannot stand if we do it. All right? It's kind of basic mathematics.
If you hear me, could you feel me, could you free me? Wonder if I made a difference or made a difference. But that we are the difference. We ain't got no code to decipher. Brother, I would never call you trife. You my brother, though they knife and fork our meals, then cop the silly feels. Yep, it's slimy, kinda grimy, miscalculated the timing. But you can't plagiarize something in the skies and think we have no eyes to see something real as we. This is seriously who we be. See, this here is true indeed, the real deal, thoroughbred, like collard greens and cornbread. Can't recite what's never said, purpose keeps us fed. Real man, this is grand A, hope fed. But still, you are my brother, above you there's no other. Blood or something other, more like what the blood covers. Man, no matter what they say, we good over this way. This is positivity in the making, helping brothers to break through. Without breaking, without breaking, without breaking, without breaking. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's Thursday.
You know, it's Brother Empowerment Day.
And we got a new camera.
Yes.
And we're trying to figure this thing out. So we don't know where we're looking at this moment.
Here, then I'm probably gonna look there for like half the episode. So excuse me, everybody that's on this. Yeah, don't mind us.
We ain't got no codes to this side. We just can't look at the camera. Bro, thank you for hooking the camera up. Man. It's clear and crisp. I see the letters in my shirt.
This technology is unbearable sometimes, but it's working, so that's all that matters.
We've been upgraded.
Yeah.
As soon as we get the studio together, guys, I know that you already know seen our guests that are on, but before we introduce them, if this is your first time watching, Brother Empowerment is a show that's designed to help brothers and their families to break through without breaking. This is not one of those bashing shows, but this is a show of empowerment, and we hope that from the conversation, something someone can take away to make their life or someone they know life a little bit better. So, bro, how was your week?
Man, this week has been so reflective and introspective and just crazy emotionally, man. So, as some of you may know, some of you may not know, you know, the 8th cohort for the Love Advocacy Training is underway. And I am the teacher's assistant, basically, for this cohort.
No, not basically, you are.
Yeah, so I'm the teacher's assistant. So this is I've taken the class numerous times, and yet again, the material has evolved with me, and I'm pulling new stuff from the material. So this week, between that, my own personal therapy sessions, and just my own uncovering as I go through my personal journey, I've discovered a lot about myself, and I have been tearing my journal up. But no, it's been really good, and I've been amping it up with the workouts. Speaking of that, I have an announcement about some activity about that later. But I've been amping it up with the workouts and working out more, and really just that's really it. Just enjoying my quiet time. But yeah, it's still cold, unfortunately. Still cold.
Today was a warmer day, though. I was glad today was a little bit warmer.
But the week has been just really introspective, really cool. But how about you, bro?
My week is very similar to your week, except I got a good one, though. Mm-hmm. I think I found my mom a possible suitor. I'm like low-key happy I might have a stepdaddy on the way. We're going to see how it goes. They got to go out on the date first. But yeah, I don't know. I've been on the prowl looking for my mom a possible suitor. Mm-hmm. And I think we might find a good candidate. Okay. My wife loves him. The kids love him. So I'm excited about that.
I know him too.
Right. See? Right. We're on to something. Mama go out of town and guess what I'm doing? Plotting, trying to find her a man. Mom. Man. The other thing is, bro, in addition to starting the class, we actually have our latest book out, the second installment to the Love Advocacy Training. Ampersands and commas. Love is communicating. It's in store now. Get it. I guarantee you, if you like the first training manual, this is kind of all of the things that you guys have been asking about, like learning more about the sacred box, really getting into that, but also learning how to hear love. So I'm really excited about this one, guys. So make sure you check it out. Also, if you have time, be sure to go on over to loveisaparable.com and get your virtual copy of 360 Degrees of Success and Fulfillment. A lot of times we talk about success, but what about having fulfillment and success? So you definitely want to get that. It's actually on sale right now, 50% off. So you definitely want to check that out. And then for those who can't really watch Brother Empowerment, remember, we got our podcast. Brother got a podcast. We ain't got no coach to this site. I'm trying to tell you. It's time for us. So that's what I got going on. So now, let's talk about our guests.
Our requested special guest.
Our requested guest. Tell the people who you is, who you be.
I don't know how to feel about the requested thing, but I am very humbled by that. My name is Aaliyah Simon. I am a wife, mom, and what I do for a living is I'm a forensic interviewer. And for those that didn't catch the first show, a forensic interviewer is someone who interviews children that there's some type of alleged sexual abuse or physical or extreme physical abuse. I interview children on behalf of law enforcement, Department of Social Services, and a prosecutor's office. So that's what I do.
Oh, that's it? What about the colors you got on?
What?
What about the colors?
So I have on a little pink and green representing, our, Vice President, Stevie.
Okay.
Todd, tell the people who you are.
Great. T.Todd Simon. I am a husband, father, South Carolina native, U.S. Navy veteran, residential and investing financial strategist. And my job is the regional manager for Legacy Home Loans, which is the largest Black-owned real estate company or mortgage company in America. So that's it in a nutshell, man. South Carolina native, man. Born and raised in Greenview. Let's go.
We did meet with Todd. We working on our project.
You know what? I knew you were gonna bring that up, so I was holding my breath because I knew you were gonna bring that up.
Oh, I'm gonna bring up, guys, but we got some great things. I actually talked about it the next Brother Empowerment we had anyway that we're gonna be collaborating. So this is only the beginning, guys. What y'all see is truly only the beginning, bro. Who we got viewing?
Let's see who we have. We have Chanel is on. What's up, Chanel?
That's my sorrow. What's going on?
We got Sherry's on already with the colorful commentary.
Look at it. There she goes.
You know what I'm saying? Let's see, we got Ricky's on, aka The Beard. What's up, bro?
Oh, he got a new video coming out. His Healing Forward video is pretty dope.
Yeah, we know he had to do it up. You know what I'm saying? He's as big as his big is. So we got Rick. What's up, Rick, man?
What's going on, Rick?
We got Roderick's on. What's up, Roderick?
Yeah, he's an alpha, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and we got Rashida's on. What's up, Rashida?
Hey, Rashida. Now, guys, if you're viewing, please let us know that you're on.
Yep.
Because we won't be able to see you unless you say your name.
What's up,
Stephanie came in on the end. So anybody else that's please go ahead and let us know. So let's look at a couple of things, guys. So we always talk about statistics, right? 1 in 6 men have experienced sexual abuse or assault, whether in childhood or as adults. Here's a new one. Top 3 causes of men death. 1, heart disease. 2, cancer. 3, unintentional injuries. Wow. So we down on accident out here in these streets.
Wow.
Did you have to say it like that?
I'm just saying, like, can I plan my death, please? It's just an accident. Like, oops, I died today. So, raping of males. CDC study found that in the U.S., 1 in 71 men have been raped or suffered an attempt within their lifetime. This same study have found approximately 1 in 21 or 4.8% of men in a survey had been made to penetrate someone else, usually an intimate partner or an acquaintance. Men die 3.53 times more often than women of suicide. Here's another new one. Men top 5 fears. Body image is number 1. 2, money, not having enough of it. 3, not being tall enough. 4, they're actually intimidated by other men. And then 5, being inexperienced. This is not just sexually, but even on the job, like not having enough experience to perform. So that's the top 5. And then 1 in 3 men and 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. And then teenage boys are 4 times more likely than girls to drop out of school and represent more than 75% of children referred to special ed education in the U.S. So what do y'all think about those statistics?
The top 5.
Go ahead.
Top 5 fears for me. That was very, that was really just, that hit home just because those are things that either myself or other brothers that I have known throughout my life have, that those are fears that they have. So they're definitely in line with my experiences. So, and so contrary to popular belief, men are subconscious. They're insecure about their body images too. It's not just, when you talk about women and having, being insecure about their bodies, but men have their own insecurities. And sometimes it's worse because they're not allowed to express it. Yeah,
exactly.
Could that be the number, because of the 5, could that be the number of when you go into the suicide part? When you feel inexperienced, inadequate, when you feel like you can't express yourself about anything without anybody saying man up or whatever the phrase they may use at the time, that could be the reason for the suicide thing, and not having enough money and being told that your worth is in how much money you make.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. What you was about to say, Todd? I know you was about to say something.
What I was going to say is I could definitely see how that could be a contributing factor to some of those things as far as suicide. To Cordell's point, I'm not the tallest guy. You know what I'm saying?
Me neither. You know that.
I'm kind of short. You know what I mean? So I've had to deal with wanting to be taller. But I just but mentally, I'm 6 feet. I'm 6'5", so I just handle it like that. So, but physically, no. But I do. When you're looking at the top 5 and you see the thing about the money and the inadequacies or not feeling 100% in certain areas. I dealt and battled with that, in certain areas as well. So I can totally identify with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. Mine is probably the money. That was my only fear, like not having money. That's because I've been homeless before. I really don't have body image issues. Well, now I do because I'm older. I mean, the doctor was just talking about this. I went to the doctor today, and even though I'm losing weight, the body ain't bouncing back like it's supposed to. Like my fat used to be tight fat. Now it's loose fat. And I'm struggling. You got man boob all up under your arm. I ain't never had that problem before. So we're talking about different things that sometimes like exercise is an option for some people and exercise may work, but there are some people whose body just don't work and they have to look at other things. And so one of the things that I'm going to actually look at is what's the thing called? Well, it's a weight loss consultant, a weight loss specialist, so they can tell us all the different options. So as the best way to lose weight, but also things that I may have to consider as far as if this body don't bounce back, if I have to go a surgical route to get certain things removed. And I'm open to that because it's not that I want to look good for other people. I just want to look good for me. And I don't like the whole idea of flapping. And when you ain't used to having I don't know how some people do it. Like when you ain't used to having stuff up under your arms, I can't. I feel like I'm walking around like this. So I really got to get that fixed. And I was talking to the doctor about that today.
Definitely understand that.
Because I got flanks. You say what number?
No, I definitely identify with that. Like I've been, early part younger when I was about 150, 160 pounds. Had a Achilles injury playing basketball, completely tore several of my Achilles, and I was in the bed for like 6 months. And of course, I ate cookies and donuts and Skittles and drank soda and all of that during that period of time. And, that's where I picked up all of my weight. And then after that, I'm no longer as active. So it's hard to lose it when your metabolism slows down and you're not as active as you used to be. So that was one of the things that I felt with and dealt with that as well. So, but it's all about being healthy as well. So you can be a little big boned, I guess, but as long as you are healthy in that, right? That's what matters, because, our people suffer from high blood pressure, diabetes. I lost my mother and my grandmother to heart disease. So, very conscious. But my wife is super conscious of my health. And she makes me go to the doctor regularly. So even though I might be a little fluffy, I'm healthy though. So, and I'm trying to eat right. Trying not to go vegan though, but I think that's going to happen, right?
Eventually. I'll win them over eventually.
Yeah, I'm not big boned. I'm
I wasn't talking about you.
It was a whole around my bones.
People been saying big bone forever, and it's like, man, I think it's just a term. Even though there's no such thing, it's just a term that we use.
I just want people to know your bones the same size.
It's the meat wrapped around the bones, huh?
Right. It's just some of us. You might have more gristle.
Yes, sir.
Listen to what the people are saying. Your body will bounce. No, I'm saying it's not bouncing back. I'm losing weight.
Though too.
Huh?
You got to give it a chance to. Like, it's not gonna happen overnight.
It's different. Like when I lost weight in my 30s, it's different. But this 40 is losing weight. It's like, hold on,
Yeah.
It's like we gonna get rid of the fat, but the skin is like, I'm gonna just chill here. I like where I was, and I'm just gonna lay right here. So it's like one of those things.
I got you. Somebody says you just juicy.
Oh, we got
what's up, Ian?
T's our voice too. He said he had Achilles injury too. Don't wish that on his worst injury.
Yeah.
Big bone. Let's go word for fact. Okay, look, let's go ahead and jump into the first discussion topic. Can we retire real men, women memes? Aren't we all real?
Yeah, we are. And so instead of people, now I know some people push them out for comedic value, which, whatever. Some of them are funny. Admittedly, some of them, a lot of them are just corny. It would be better if people just said, hey, this is aligned with my value system. So I think that women should, or I think that men should, or I want the men or women that I'm attracted to do or be like this. Instead of saying you ain't a real man, you ain't a real woman if you don't do this. Like that's one of the things about meme culture. That's one of the negatives about meme culture. Like it is funny and sometimes, and some of it can be, enlightening as far as, oh, okay, that's something to think about. But a lot of it is really just kind of damaging and corny. And that's more so in the category, in my opinion. So,
yeah.
Right.
And all of that is just based off of perception.
Yep.
Your perception of what is real and what's not, because that's what you are attracted to or what you like.
Yep.
And not giving people grace to be exactly who they are.
Right.
I can come across as fake to some people who don't know me.
Yep.
It doesn't mean that I'm fake. It's just your perception of who I am. And so, the quote is always real, recognize real, right? Yeah, real, recognize real. But the thing is, it's based off of your perception.
Absolutely.
You know, like I'm not gonna be everybody's taste. So I might be called fake to somebody. You know what I'm saying? While somebody else might be like, yo, she real, she keeps it real. So it depends on the person. And I think that it's wrong, and I think that we should retire that real men, real women thing, because it's about the individual person, period.
Agreed. And like you said, man, it's damaging, right? It can be damaging because, you know, we grew up with all types of stereotypes and different things like that about what a man looks like. You don't cry, suck it up, you know, stop being, you know, soft and those type of things. When actuality, if you've been, you know, preached that or told that your whole life, when you're an adult and you're a father and your husband, now it's time to be vulnerable and time to be real and time to show your emotions. You shut off that part of your whole, you know, emotional psyche. So now it's hard to even tap into that stuff. So when you look at memes and things like that, that kind of point back to that kind of thing, like real in whose point and who's, you know, it's about what your taste, your perspective is and what's real to you. You know, so that's my thing, man. Like, you know, memes, I think all the stuff is short-lived anyway. And you're right, man. Most of it is corny. It's funny, but you got to know what to take and absorb as far as content and what to throw away, you know?
I add to that too, though. The problem I have with those memes is that they are a lot of times are continuing the narrative that we're trying to combat. I mean, the collective we. So correct. A lot of times we will say we don't want to live in a sexist environment or a misogynist environment, but you will put out a misogynist meme and say it's funny. And here's my whole thing is I'm just old school when it comes to certain things. The spirit realm don't know when you joking or not. That's how I put out there. So you put some stuff out there and you don't know what's going on. Somebody may not know you joking. Something know you joking, and also professions work the same way as affirmations. So you're sitting there putting something out there saying this is what a real woman is. You're going to start seeing women who are not like that meme, and you're going to start calling those women fake. Or men who are not like that meme, and you're going to start calling them fake, and you're going to miss out on some real great opportunities by thinking somebody is fake because you're telling yourself that.
Correct.
Words still have power, whether joking or not. And so you're out there professing things, and you don't realize that you are helping to damage the same community that you're proclaiming to build up. Whoa, it's just like fun. Well, it ain't fun because guess what happens? People are still dying for real.
Correct.
Those same stereotypes that we're putting labels on, calling it what a real person would do. We're the same ones that want to do marches and protests and change legislation because people are dying by those same memes you put out there saying people are real. So I say this, like, you got to be mindful. If you want to sit there and say you grown and you real grown, well, be real mindful of the stuff that you're putting out there because it's real damaging and it can continue to have the real narrative out there that could really damage all of us for real.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You're right about that. That was good.
You got some people saying something. Add real dads, moms to the list too. Everyone is different, so let's stop the shaming.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Kimberly Dixon said perception is based on personal experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Roger was echoing. I think you just agreeing with her because she's your sorrow. I think there's some little nepotism in your First Lady Sherry Bridges on.
What's up, Sherry?
And that's good because her and her husband actually have Thursday Love that usually come on Thursday, so they're tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, Sherry.
Definitely.
And then Stephanie said, "Real is relative, just like nice, cute, funny, etc."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That licensed therapist knowledge. Brianna clapping. I don't know if she clapping at. And then she said, "True." First Lady said, "True." And then Rick said, "Might miss out on your blessing."
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't deny that.
Yeah.
The other thing is too, like when you're thinking about real and stuff, somebody that is actually that may be attracted to the person that puts out that meme, they're now seeing, okay, this is what you like. Now I'm trying to conform to what you like, you know, and start being something that you're not.
Right.
That's being fake, because now you're trying to conform to somebody else's image of what a woman should be, and not understanding you're enough for who you're good enough for the person that you are. And not, you know, and so they're very damaging in so many different ways, including the way of now I'm trying to conform to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I agree with that 1,000. I agree with that 1,000%. So let me see. Chanel said the term real is now becoming like these horoscopes, just creating an excuse for a certain behavior.
Ooh.
You better say that.
That's good.
You better stop, Chanel, because I like horoscopes.
Yes.
The Leos are crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Not crazy. We just.
I don't even want to get into all that.
I ain't never met a sane Leo.
Let's not. We are. Look, we the real zodiac sign.
That's ludicrous. A ludicrous.
Oh Lord.
TJ and I are enjoying it. Gotta go. Thursday Love is getting ready to start. And that's real. TJ said no spirits in the cup. It better be water.
Mine is that good old Chick-fil-A lemonade.
It's not crazy. Well, Chick-fil-A don't crazy.
I'm drinking tea, First Lady.
Stephanie said, I want a whole partner. No more real.
Yeah.
She said, I have my moments.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah, so I guess the biggest takeaway from that is like just make sure that if you're putting something out there, man, just be mindful, because we always talk about bullying, we always talk about other things, but be mindful of the things that you're doing and joking. My mom always said a person when a person joking, they telling the truth, and when a person drunk, they telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So I always be like, when people start joking, talking about I was just playing around. No, you said what you wanted to say, but you just saying it in a joking way because you don't want people to get mad.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're talking about me, but it's okay. Let's go to the next one. How can professional athletes speak out against domestic violence like they have for social justice? How can professional athletes speak out against domestic violence like they have? I guess it was more of, I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the method or if it's because to me the most simple answer would be they make the choice just like they do for social justice. They make the choice to speak out for it and to put their reputation out there on the line, just because there are some athletes who don't want to risk anything. That's why they don't speak about reputation. They don't speak about. You know, you have football players who don't, or basketball players or whatever sport who don't speak about it because they're just there for the check, and they don't want to make any moves that may damage their lateral or upward mobility later on in their career, or at least so they think. So they stay away from it. So I would say that they make the choice that it's important enough to speak on or about, just like they do social justice. You know, you have athletes who refuse to speak on it when they were younger, or early in their career, where now they're making the choice to come out and speak about it. So,
but I would add to that, though. I think one of the bigger things about it is when an athlete speaks out, when any person of influence speaks out, it becomes then a marketing campaign. Yeah. Like no one really starts to deal with the issue as much as they deal with, well, what's the motive behind it, or how can we do this? And I think that that's another reason why people don't speak out. Because as soon as a person says something, it is then magnified to be something else. But guess what happens? The true reason or the true cause is not getting attention.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
That's how I feel about the same reason. A good example, racism. Mm-hmm. Every person feel like they can speak out against racism and they are hindering progress. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, they're hindering progress because they think just because you have these experiences and they're really agitating causes, not really helping us move forward. And They think just because they have a little bit of knowledge about something, that gives them a platform to speak on it, and it's damaging the ones who are really out there speaking, who are really out there doing it. And I think that some professional athletes choose to be quiet because, for one, they don't want it to be misconstrued. But the other part is they don't want to be a part of this political warfare that seems to take place anytime somebody speaks out.
Right. Look, you got it? So I mean, look, let's break down like domestic and social, right? So when you're talking about social, that's something that's all over the internet, it's all over wherever, it's a social issue. So it's a little easier, in my opinion, it's a little bit easier for a professional athlete to probably take a stance on something like that, whereas domestic violence is kind of things that happen kind of behind closed doors. And then, you have situations like, Ray Rice, where he got caught on tape with that situation on video. I mean, there's still consequences for that. But I think with domestic violence, that's stuff that's happening behind closed doors, is taboo, is not spoken about. But when it comes to something like a social injustice or social justice issue, then it's more people are talking about the issue. So it's a little bit easier and it's not as taboo for a professional athlete to take a stance on that. Whereas, domestic violence might be a little bit harder for them. Maybe they're fighting or dealing with, maybe they grew up in a household that had domestic violence. And so maybe they don't want to talk out about that because it's going to actually show a little more about who they are deep down versus something that, you can kind of talk surface about when it comes to a social issue.
Yeah.
So I want to add to the part when he started talking about somebody growing up in that situation. So I think for the most part, people see what they see on the news, right? Or the little story that might pop up on a newspaper, woman or man killed in a DV incident, right? They don't actually, a lot of people don't know the aftermath. They don't understand the extent of it. They don't understand the what it does to children in the home. And let me break this down to you. It is now a problem with DSS if a child is in a home with somebody, your children can be taken from you. If there's a domestic violence situation in your home, DSS can come and ask for ex parte, or either law enforcement can take and remove those children from the home because they were there while that crime was occurring. So if they heard it, or they saw it, or both, or tried to even intervene, those are charges. I interview children that are witnesses to domestic violence. And guess what? Usually charges go up more because there's evidence of, like it happening more than one time, of course, it usually happens more often. There's evidence of other types of abuse when you had DV. So there's a whole gamut of things that people just they close their eyes to and their ears to, because it is like I'm going into somebody's home and I'm minding other people's business, but they don't understand the larger consequence for a child that's actually sitting there witnessing domestic violence. Let me tell you something. There's more correlation between a child that witnesses violence and that is physically abused for that child to grow up and become a person that sexually abused children than there is to somebody that actually had it done to them. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
It's more correlation there. So violence not only begets violence, but violence also, there's also a link to sexual abuse.
Absolutely.
So we have to understand that domestic violence goes way beyond, what we see from a small article, or what we see on TV when somebody say, well, she should have left, or he should have left, or this should have happened. It is a ripple effect that most people don't talk about, so people don't understand everything and every aspect of it. So it's more than just they got into a fight and this is what happened. It's so much more. It's a lot more to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Sure. A lot of the comments are out there. They were naming some of the teams, but Lenora said all they have to do is open their mouth and speak. But like Cordell said, Some are not because they don't want to lose their fan base. Right, because LeBron James said black people scared. Don't know who black people he been around, because I could have sworn.
We not scared.
Stephanie said being complacent like the NFL doesn't help the cause. She was saying, like, you know, people were more upset about Mike Vick and the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It brings it from behind closed doors, and victims will feel like they are heard and seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Angela, she said true.
Angela.
And then Ricky said the bigger issue is why they don't speak up about supporting women as a whole.
Yep.
I would say it's because they engage in many practices they see as degrading women but are enjoyable to them. To speak up for women is to condemn themselves.
Absolutely right.
That's good.
That's good, brother.
Kim said people think DV is just about fighting, but it's so much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically echoing what you were saying. And then you got teens have a voice supporting you. Domestic violence and abuse are complex.
Correct.
You was about to say something?
No, I was just going to say, yeah, what Ricky said is very, very true. And because we see that, I would say most egregiously with the NFL. I mean, you have, you know, college players who are, especially ones that are going to be lottery picks, and NFL players who, like, you know, Todd was saying, Ray Rice, you have the kicker from the Giants, you have these guys who have a history going back to the college days of abusing women or grading, like in Rich saying, in practices that are degrading or abusing women. And so, yeah, I think he's exactly right. To speak up about these issues would cause people to say, well, okay, if the organization speaking up, if the whole body of whatever sports organization speaking up about it, why don't y'all clean house then? Or, you know, take care of you got guys who are just doing all this stuff. So I think that is exactly why some athletes also stay quiet about it.
Yeah, and it gets swept under the rug. Like you said, it gets swept under the rug.
And if I'm likely to be that guy, I'm going to be that guy and say the problem that I have with domestic violence is that it has become gender-based. And usually when we talk about domestic violence, it does go to immediately we think about women being abused. But we got to talk about something here, because here's the other part that we don't think about. We consider it okay for a woman to hit her man. But as soon as a man hits back in retaliation, oh, he bigger, he shouldn't have hit her. He knew he could take her, he shouldn't have did that. No, keep your hands to yourself.
Right.
And domestic violence is more than physical violence. And domestic violence also consists of emotional abuse and verbal abuse.
Yes.
A lot of times we don't know the whole story of what's going on. And remember, 1 in 3 women report domestic violence. Only 1 in 4 men have reported domestic violence. A lot of men don't report it because domestic violence is a gender-based perception. And a lot of men don't feel that they are victims of domestic violence. And I have seen for myself, man, I have even been in the South. It is common for women to get mad and slapped in the face. But we don't say it's domestic violence. Anytime a woman get mad in an argument, like, dog, anytime. But we don't look at that domestic violence. But as soon as a man or somebody, then all of a sudden he shouldn't have did that. No, we really got to talk about domestic violence, and we need to stop gender basing it. And we really need to teach anger management to a lot of people. But a lot of people don't know how to de-escalate situations. And there are other things that lead up to an incident that we don't talk about. And we tend to excuse the behavior, the flip side of what we perceive as the weaker gender. Stop doing that. Nobody needs to put their hands on people. Nobody needs to berate people. And we can't say just because the person is bigger, they have to have more constraint. No, because it's a lot of smart people out there who can manipulate a situation to get what they want. We talk about gaslighting, but that's really real. And you can gaslight somebody into abuse and have them thinking that they are the most horrible person in the world, and it was really you manipulating the whole situation the whole time. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about all of it. So if we're going to talk about it, we got to be fair, guys. We got to.
Agreed.
It can also be hard to leave an abusive relationship, especially with the emotional abuse that happens. I work as a victim advocate for 15 women. Women are abusing physically, emotionally, and sexually. I said 15. You said 15 women. Oh, 15. I thought I said 15 years women. Okay, 15 years. Women are abusing physically, emotionally, and sexually. Facts.
Yes, they are.
Right.
Psychologically, emotionally, men and women are 90% similar. There's Angela who actually has a whole thing about, she's actually started a nonprofit as well that we're going to be partnering with. She's actually over in California, guys. So she's viewing for California. She's an advocate of getting basic needs for children of disabled parents.
Okay.
Nice.
That's
Which
awesome.
is another form of neglect that we don't talk about, but that's a whole nother thing. So you will be seeing Angela. We actually going to get on the show too and talk to her.
Good.
Domestic violence is about power and control. They can manage their anger when they want to. They don't punch their boss when they're angry. Facts.
Ooh,
I know some people don't beat up their boss. I do know some people, but facts. You're right. I do. I really do. I was like, you know they. I mean, like, you know they crazy. I don't know why you mess with them, but yeah, they got beat up. But we need to really talk about it, and I want us to stop genderizing or gender basing these things because it's not helping the cause either. Because there are some men who have suffered severely from being in abusive relationships, and they have not hit women.
Right.
There are also some men who have given up their rights as fathers for the sake of making sure that the parent, that the mother and the child have a relationship because they perceive that they, when it comes to both parents, the father is the less important. Even though statistics say otherwise, there are several men who do that. There are several men who don't tell the truth about what's really going on to save face for some of these mothers who are doing some damaging things. And that is because, we talked about this, the fathers don't feel that they should come between the child and the mother, and they feel that their role is less important. That's abuse right there.
That is. That will. That's big.
Jay, do you think men dealing with domestic violence is being swept under the rug because from an early age we teach boys don't hit girls, but we often give little girls a pass? Exactly, Mundo.
Yeah. So I was actually going to kind of say something around that issue, man. Like, and then, think about this as an example. Y'all, everybody scratched up. You got a little issue, a little DV issue. When the police come, they're looking at you to take you to jail, even if as a male, even though you might have been a victim, you gotta spend more time trying to explain how you were a victim as a man, and you still might go to jail in that situation. So a lot of times I think things might get swept under the rug from the male just because it's like, I don't feel like dealing with going to jail or any of that issue, or just having a conversation that because the police might feel that I'm talking too aggressively and I'm trying to explain my point. Now all of a sudden I'm in handcuffs and I'm going to jail off of something that I might have called you guys to come to my house. Whereas, it could be that kind of situation. I've seen that happen. Even when a guy didn't even hit back, he was scratched up and he still went to jail and had to, pay fees and things like that. So, I think that is an issue that we don't really talk and address or deal with. But to her point, we are taught not to hit females back, and that's great. But also, if you're getting hit and you're being abused, you got to speak out about it. And, hopefully you don't have to hit anybody back. You can actually remove yourself from that situation if you have the power and the strength to, really.
But also teaching the girls, don't put your hands on. First of all, you teach them not to put their hands on anybody. But then next up, first of all, don't put your hands on a man. Like I tell my girls all the time, no, I don't care. You walk away. You go. You come get. You got a father. You come get him. You come. You go talk to somebody. Don't you sit up there and try to fight no boy. You know what I'm saying? But see now what's happening now is people are raising their children, their boys, to hit back girls. That's now a new. I don't know how new it is, but it's definitely newer. Because when we were growing up, a boy, you better not hit a girl.
Right.
Now it's like if that chick hits you, you better hit her back, type of thing. So now you have a bunch of boys that's running around that's willing to fight girls. I don't know whether y'all noticed this trend, but you got a bunch of boys running around nowadays that's willing to take and fight a girl. And now, so it's a thing where we have to nip this in the bud by telling both of them, no, ma'am, you are not to hit a boy. No, sir, you are not to hit a girl. Absolutely. Like keep your hands to yourself.
Correct.
And I just really want to just clarify, and as a father of girls, and I'm gonna tell you this. I talk to my girls about fighting. I tell them don't fight. I say if you don't see an adult, if somebody hits you, you better keep hitting them until an adult comes. I would do it. No, because you can't afford to even walk away. No, I'm sorry. Live in that world. You keep hitting them until an adult comes, and then try to explain what happened. Don't walk up, hit nobody, but defend you, because we're living in times now where I want my child to come home.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
We got this, and I tell my kids, I don't care if it's boy or girl, whoever it is, you keep hitting in the face until somebody comes. I don't condone violence, but I do condone survival.
I agree with that. That's definitely not what I'm saying, because my girls know they better defend themselves, but they have an opportunity. If they have an opportunity to walk away, to get away from that, then you go ahead and take that opportunity to leave. But if they don't have that opportunity, then go ahead and defend yourself. So I agree with you 100%.
When they're walking away, people are dying.
Correct.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like we're living in this world now, and I wasn't talking about you. I'm just saying, like my girls, I do teach them like you defend yourself. You equitable rights in every capacity.
Yes, sir.
And it's some big burly women out there that will take some people clean off.
Yeah.
Yes. I see some women that have taken out rows of men. No, I'm serious, and I'm talking about
that's real.
A woman that took some people out and was like, bam, messed up a whole bunch of people. We got to stop genderizing what it means to be a victim. That's the bigger problem. Because we think victim, we automatically assume woman. And then we automatically assume woman is weaker. Just because a person is a different gender doesn't make them weaker. And victim can be male or female. And recognizing when you're in a victimized state really is empowerment, so you would know how to flee from it.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
We don't do that other part enough. And as women, well, raising women, I have to prepare them for the real world. Yes, you're going to be subjectified, but that means you're going to have to fight twice as hard, both physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You're going to have to do it.
Agreed.
Let me see. Some responding officers laughed at me and saying, "You let her beat you? You bigger than her, etc." So men report less.
Yeah.
Rick said, Whoopi said, everybody keep your hands. And they got mad at Whoopi, and Whoopi said she don't care. That's why I love Whoopi.
She really did. She did.
Does anybody feel like that's a deal breaker in a relationship if either party puts their hands on the other person?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not going to just happen once.
Absolutely.
I mean, have I stayed with a person that put their dad slapped me? Yes. Why? Because that was a norm. And so I'm telling people like.
But you were younger. You were probably younger, inexperienced, and or didn't understand. And yes, it was normal, because as a teenager, it was normal for me to be in a relationship that was abusive, because that's all I saw. But as an adult, who I am now, no, you're not going to beat on me and then I'll just come back.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that it's some people, when we say is that a deal breaker? Realistically, it's not.
Yeah.
How much can you? How much can you tolerate? You know, like for me personally, you know, I saw my mom being abused when I was, you know, younger. So I made a vow to myself, like, I'm not gonna hit any woman, and I'm not gonna put myself in a situation to get hit. You know, so so I mean, you know, we talked about that early on. So, you know, with New Jersey, you know, them attitudes and that language was a little abrasive early on if you ain't used to dealing with that. And I'm like, look, you know, I'm not the guy for that. So you know what I mean? So you know, getting hit, you know, not trying to protect yourself and not put yourself in those situations. For me, that's a deal breaker. If somebody hits me, because I'm not going to hit anyone, regardless of you know, especially a relationship. Like, I'm not going to hit somebody. I'm going to figure out how to control my emotions better than that. So, you know, if I got to walk away, if I got to go outside, if I got to get in the car and drive away, I'm going to do something that allows me to, you know, flee from that situation versus dealing with something from a physical altercation standpoint. But that's just my personal take.
No, I agree with you. I just want to be real, because there are several people who have been either hit or it has been some form of domestic violence, and it wasn't a deal breaker.
And for some people, it's not, and that's okay with them.
Correct.
No, it's not okay. I want them to be able to recognize that that's not normal. Like, nobody should put on you.
No.
Nobody should berate you. Nobody should belittle you. That's what I'm saying. Like, because I know people who stay, and I know people who are in unhealthy relationships, and they're not getting beat, but they're getting beat down verbally.
Right.
That
has a long last. That has a deeper effect than physical abuse as well. Psychological, emotional abuse is far-reaching. You know, so you know, yeah, man. No.
So if I beat you, you gonna leave me?
Yeah. If you know, but you gotta look at the situation now. If y'all young and y'all both young and y'all both fighting. I'm talking example. I'm gonna come back and address the question. Trust me. I'm gonna address this question, but I'm gonna make a point first because I was gonna make it anyway. So, you know, look at the context of the situation, right? So if y'all young, y'all both fight, y'all drunk or something, okay, that y'all hit each other. That's different. But if it's different. It's a little different. It could be different, right? It could be different. but to answer your question, if you hit me, it's over. Word up. If you, I mean, don't even grab me. I'm not gonna grab and shake you. So don't, you know, I wouldn't do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'll go watch a basketball game or something.
No. Now, I will tell you now, that is, we got to talk about it, because I remember early on in my marriage, my wife, every time she got mad, them hands would come. Like, dog. One time she did a 2-piece, and I was like, ma'am, you can't do the 2-piece. But that was taught. That was really taught. Like, women, if a man get hostile, if a man come in your space, you do it. And I had to tell her, like, ma'am, you hit me one more time, this over.
Correct.
But that's something we had to work through. And don't get me wrong, like, I seen my dad hit my mom, but I seen my mom beat my dad up after he hit her. He never hit her again. We had to pick him up and drag him out the driveway. So I don't like that. Like, I don't like verbal abuse. I don't like people putting hands on me. I definitely like people touching my face. But she wasn't the only person I've ever met that put their hands on me. Every girl that I played with, when they got upset, they would slap you. And I'm not going to sit here and say that we are not against it if I can't even say, like, guys, I know that you're with some women that put their hand on you when they get mad. It's not okay. You gotta talk to them about that. And because we talked about years, some men feel like that was the best that they could get, so they will accept some of them.
That's good. That's real.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in that situation before in a previous relationship, so I'm not, you know, I can't sit here and act like I'm above all that and it never happened to me or anything like that. because like Jay said, if you, especially you feel a certain way, some people are just that attracted to, or feel like that's the best they can do. Say like, man, if I ain't that bad,
Right.
I mean, I've been in that situation too, so it definitely happens more than.
And then some people just grow up in toxic type situations where, if they were taught that maybe they come from a situation that says, until this man is completely riled up and out of character and he got to snatch me up, that means he don't love me. If he don't do that,
Listen, I believed that when I was a teenager. And so I was in that relationship. Actually, is one of the reasons why I came down to South Carolina, to get out of that relationship. Okay.
You ran into a good one too.
Yes, I did.
I know it.
So I ran into a situation like that. And I was a teenager. And for a long time, my mindset was, he obviously loved me, because why would he get this angry? Why would he get this frustrated? Why would, I really thought, because what I saw around me was, like, dude to come snatch you up and be like, why you over here? Pop out, get in the house, because he didn't want you talking to certain people. It had gotten so bad where I made sure I walked with my head down, because I didn't even want him to think that I was looking at anybody around me. So but that was my mindset then. What I'm saying to you today is I'm totally different than then. I had very low self-esteem then, didn't know my worth, didn't know that I was enough, was a teenager, saw what I saw. So my experience shaped how I viewed the world.
Right.
And so I viewed the world based off of
those experiences. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, we got real passionate about this. Look, that hour went by fast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah,
for real.
Let's put a few comments up. Let me read these. My son is 6'3", 250 pounds. I'd rather him have a scratch than a girl to have a concussion or worse. Okay.
Unless it's life or death.
Yeah.
He was talking to Chanel.
Yeah.
Chanel was talking to Rick.
Yeah. He better walk away even if she jumps on his back.
No.
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of dangerous because I know some little girls that done took some men out. I mean, straight out the world. So
you don't know people
right.
Stuff. You don't know none of that.
Yeah. Angela said domestic violence is not a cycle. It has a clear beginning and a definite end.
Ooh.
Leave or die.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Domestic violence is more than a slap. It's intimidation, fear. I can't say the word.
Degradation.
There we go. Exerting power, financial abuse, isolation, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real.
Mm-hmm.
Not okay. And then Chanel was echoing you to my yes, black love. And then I've learned in old age not to be abusive. It seemed normal because I saw every woman in my life do it. I had to learn it wasn't okay through therapy, not wanting any woman to do that to my sons, because then here come mama and they can't control me.
That's real.
Statistically, more women die from domestic violence, especially black women. We're not refuting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not refuting any of that. What we're saying is that we need to stop gender-basing domestic violence. And also not just putting domestic violence only in the physical realm. Domestic violence is bigger than just what physically happens.
Because those statistics might change if more men reported and talked about their experiences.
Correct.
Right.
Might not be so imbalanced.
Right. And it is good that we acknowledge that men, especially black men, are affected by domestic violence. But the statistics show that more women lose their life to domestic violence, includes young girls.
Yep, that's true.
And the court system is not designed to effectively stop it.
It is not. She's right about that.
Well, I question statistics anyway, because when you have, like for right now, if you look up how many unarmed how many people died how many cops have killed unarmed victims, the statistics are skewed.
Right.
It's hard hard to determine what is considered a crime and a violent crime.
Mm-hmm.
They put it under that, and then they don't put more of it under that. So when we start talking about the same thing happens with numbers, is so when you start talking about that, we don't know. There is not a lot of statistical data to show how many true men are victims of domestic violence and what those behaviors lead to.
Correct.
So those statistics are out there. We have to realize numbers have never really worked in the Black man's favor anyway. And to be honest, in America alone is one of the most dangerous places for Black women to be, period.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of things that affect Black women in America, and we recognize that and we speak out on those statistics, but still that doesn't go against the fact that the reporting is not really a true representation of what's really going on in our communities, because a lot of people don't report what's really going on. Mm-hmm. And we don't know how many of these men that went to jail for domestic violence ended up dead.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We don't know how many even defended themselves and ended up dead. We don't know how many were even doing the right thing and ended up dead. The list goes on and on. And so, guys, that's why we have to start talking. If you really want to really talk about stuff, we really have to make sure representation is a thing we have in place, period.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
We have to show people that representation in numbers matter just as much as representation in an office, representation in a position. Statistical data, that's how they use it to make decisions. Like people who don't use the census.
Mm-hmm.
You say you don't use the census, well, guess what? That's how they make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to start reporting, guys. If you're victims of anything, report it.
Yeah.
And you're not alone, and it doesn't make you weak.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get help, and the only way to help is to know what's really out there. And because we're not reporting things, we don't know what's really out there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's not refuting what our women, our sisters go through. You know, that's the biggest thing that we're about. But if we really want to impact change, we got to allow certain things to come to the front and have those conversations and really make sure that everything is being represented.
Correct.
Can we agree that domestic violence in our community goes underreported for boys? It's
Stephanie.
Stephanie and April are your sorrow, by the way.
Hey, Zora.
They make friends and they both therapists, so it's funny.
Yep.
Okay, well, as much as I hate to end it on that note, we're at this place where it's time to do, you know, our positive brother shout out. Let me go on and get this out of the way. So,
ladies first.
Oh, ladies first. Ladies first.
Oh, I'm first. Okay. So, the last show, of course, I shout out my boo thing. This show, I would like to shout out. Am I saying that right? Shout out?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right.
How can you say it wrong?
What'd you say? Say that again?
I said, how can you say it wrong?
My accent sometimes. My accent go from southern to mixed with up north, so it might not come out right all the time. Anyway, ooh, she's Stevie. Listen, my Stevie on here, y'all can be like, oh, my ear. But is a young man in our community. His name is Danny, and he was on he came in, was one of the viewers on the last show, and he has like 3 different businesses, right? Diesel Express Mobile Detailing, Crown Generation is a clothing line, and then he has Diesel Up Digital. But those aren't the reasons why I'm shouting him out today. I'm doing it because he is truly a remarkable young man who is a leader in his community. He does, he used his gifts of creativity to come up with different lessons for our youth in the youth ministry. He is somebody that our kids can, shout out to Dan and Tisu. So just, you know, he's just like a remarkable young man. He is a great husband of 2 little girls. So he's out here trying to be, this black man, this father, this husband, as well as a leader for other young men to follow. So I'm shouting him out today.
Shout out Danny.
Yeah, shout out Danny.
Absolutely. Definitely shout out to Danny. He's on our team with CTN Movement. Diesel Up Digital does all my personal, stuff. So that's definitely my partner. Yeah, and we shout him my guy.
You old when they start calling you, when they older and they still call you auntie, right?
Hey auntie.
Yeah, but just a shout out a few other brothers, man. Shout out a few other brothers. My partners, Danny, Wayne, Cody, Shakise, KJ, all my partners at BDC that I went to high school with, all my partners that fathers, husbands doing good things in the community, guidance counselors, different things like that. Just everybody that support me. I love you. Bishop Davis, all the men that do great things in the community, man. Love you guys, and that's it.
For sure, definitely.
Yeah, Danny, it's all right to shed a tear, bro.
Yeah.
Those great things that they say you do, man. We need to all link up and get you on the show so we can tell people about what you're doing, and you can get out even to a larger audience, man. You never know who your businesses may compel to.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Tap in with us. Oh, it's on my turn.
It's your go, bro.
Okay. So first and foremost, I always got to shout out my brother Jay, even though he's always on my head. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay.
Time out. This dude's been burping the whole live.
He's gonna tell what?
Bro, and you like burping below. Like
eliminated.
Didn't First Lady ask you what was in your cup?
He just burping. I know he had tacos, and I keep smelling it.
I didn't want to do the brother shopping. I'm gonna take my joint back. I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna unshout you out. That's what we gonna do. Unshout you out. But definitely just shout out my brother Jay, man. Even though he's rude, I gotta definitely shout out my brother Jay, man. Just because we're just out here just doing this thing, and we are on year number 3 this year. In November, we're year number 3 of Brother Empowerment, and we still are just. It's been such a fun ride, and like I can't even say nothing else. It's been such a positive and fun ride. And his light shines so bright that doing this with him just feels right. Every Thursday, no matter what I have going on, this brightens up my week. No matter what I'm going through, so I definitely appreciate for that and being the person that he is. Definitely got to shout you out, Todd, man, for coming on again with us and tapping in with us and offering your input and your support. We love you and we love that, man, for real. So who else? Shout out.
I was actually gonna come back and try to shout you guys out too, man. See how you do. So, but honestly, man, I wanted to shout you guys out because it's not often that you speak to people offline, and it's the same energy. We talked, we laughed on here, then we had 2 different calls offline, and it was the same energy, the same laughter, the same genuineness, and also the same accessibility of what you guys have accomplished with your platform and how we can collaborate and do things together, man. So salute to both of you guys, man. I'm ready to do a lot of work together, man. So I'm super excited for what 2021 is going to help us align and do.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be jealous because Jay my friend, but okay.
Yeah, definitely.
He the brother-in-law. You the sister.
Okay.
So definitely shout out Todd. Shout out to all brothers on the live, man. Ricky, Danny, Diesel, Ian. Shout out to all y'all brothers, man. I want to give definitely 2 special shout outs to my man. Well, he's Devontae Raggan up here, but he's better known to me as Keon.
My friend.
And yeah. And our Uncle Marcus. Definitely, I had some really good conversations with those 2 brothers over the last couple of days, especially Keon. Me and Keon talked. I think it was might have been Tuesday at like 3-something in the morning. I was up on Facebook and he texted me, was like, "Hey man, Vampire, what you doing? You on your your vamp life stuff now. And we talked for almost an hour just about stuff going on and stuff like that. It got kind of emotional for me, but I definitely appreciate it because I was up. He just hit my phone. It was like one of those things where this is what you needed right then. So definitely shout out to my man Keon, Uncle Marcus. And the last two things, as I always say, or I've said the past couple weeks, I want to shout out to brothers who are doing stuff in the community, but don't need a camera or need any kind of kudos or anything like that to do what they do. They do what they do because they want to be the change that they want to see, and they're moved to do that because they're walking in their purpose. I want to shout out to those brothers because I don't think they get enough shine because there's the brothers that want to be in front of the camera or want the kudos are taking it all, because that's what they want. That's what they're looking for is shine and camera time.
Right. That's
and so I definitely want to shout those brothers out because those are positive brothers. And I also want to shout out, again, the brothers who are having those tough conversations with people, for whatever reason, whether it be to mend a relationship, to release someone, or to really just get through some pain that they've been holding on to and give back some weight. I want to shout those brothers out because speaking from experience, that's hard work. And some of that stuff can really literally break people. Those kind of things, they hold on to it because if they give it up, if they give it back, they don't know how they're going to be once they do that. They might fall apart. That same painful weight is sometimes what's holding them together.
Yeah.
So giving that back, and them having the strength to give that back and still continue on, that's positive, and that's really real strength. And so I want to shout out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's dope.
What camera are you looking at?
I was listening. I definitely want to.
We're looking at all the cameras.
I'm just looking at y'all. Look, I just gave up looking at this. That right there, I gave up a long time ago. Yeah. I'm definitely going to give a shout out to you, even though you've been burping taco all night and blowing it. Not just burping, but burp and like. But definitely shout out to you, man. Thank you for everything that you've been doing, bro. I definitely do appreciate you. Thank you for setting that up, even though we don't know how to work it. That right there, I definitely appreciate that. But also, man, I love all the brothers that are connected. Now, Todd, I can't wait till we finish getting everything together because I know what we're about to do is going to be huge. And I ain't even gonna say nothing about the fact I'm still waiting on my Healing Forward video.
Well, and I thought we got away with almost dodged the bullet. I'll have it ready for you tomorrow, man, by Monday.
We're gonna actually call Danny Diesel and he's gonna come do it for us.
There you go.
Bam.
Well, okay, because I'm about to say, because you got this fresh haircut, Aaliyah, that need to be in here. But
stiff wig.
Everything that's happening, man. I had a great conversation with Ricky today. He has an adorable son. Even though Ricky is probably the most pettiest person I met in my life, I have never met anybody more petty than Ricky.
Excluding you.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Burtman. But I've never met anybody more petty than Ricky, but his son is my favorite dude. Jude the dude, I got to give him a shout out. Jude is 3 years old and he's straight gangster. I love everything about the little boy. He's amazing. My nephews, my brothers, all of my brothers, I definitely do appreciate all of you guys. And I actually appreciate Keon even more too, because he's not only been, one of your closest friends, but he ended up becoming one of my friends, one of my closest friends. And we talk, and I appreciate him. Anybody who loves something that you love just as much as you love it is amazing. And so Ricky, Kerwin, and thank you guys for loving Love is a Parable as much as I love Love is a Parable, and always being somewhere. You'll see one of them brothers saying something and doing something. I appreciate you guys because I never had this type of relationship with a lot of men, and you guys have wonderful standards, and I appreciate you. But like we want to tell people every night, if you feel that you have nobody in this world that love you or care about you, you just met 4 people who do. So make sure that you reach out and connect with us. We'll see you guys next week. And you, guess what? We got more guests. Yeah. So you definitely want to be here next week. We love you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night.
No matter what they say, we good over this way. This is positivity in the making. Open